Eyes of Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
What's up, Vikings fans? I just wanted to say, I guess you can't get rid of me yet. I'm super excited to be back in purple to ultimately try to bring a championship to this city that so much deserves it. So excited about leadership and everything that's being put in place in this organization, and can't wait to get back to work and to really build on something special.
There it is, Adam Thielen, little restructure. We'll talk a lot more about that on Purple Daily today, 4-question Friday. It's Feedback Friday here on Mackey and Judd, daily Minnesota sports, entertainment, therapy, speculation. And, we mostly talk Minnesota sports here, but the other thing we do is laugh when the Packers feel pain. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, boys, when the Vikings haven't been above 500 for 800 days, and you're a fan, you're crawling through the desert, you're looking for anything, just a bottle of water to quench your Vikings thirst, and sometimes that bottle has a green and gold label on it. This is impromptu, emergency Packer vent line following the Davante Adams trade to...
Apparently the Packers were willing to pay Davante Adams equal to what the Raiders offered. But Davante said no. Davante chose the Raiders over the Packers, and apparently Aaron Rodgers was aware of this. Caleb, thanks for the fit, hey, boop, I want to die. Apparently Aaron Rodgers knew about it before he signed his contract, and still signed, which is nice. But who's he gonna throw the ball to? Like who? Who's he? We got Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Amari Rodgers. That's it, folks. Listen, it's been a meme. It's been a joke. I get it. Tom Grassi, wide receiver 1. But I might be the next wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
Tom Grassi. Just melting down. Are you eating right now during the show?
I was watching.
What are you doing?
Are you serious?
What are you doing right now?
I thought I had more time.
We're doing a show.
Can I just say something? Can I just say something right now?
Tom
Can I just say something
I was enjoying it.
about Judd to the audience, and bring something behind the scenes onto the forefront? Because we rip Royce all the time for not being a professional broadcaster, touching microphones, or just not having etiquette. Judd Zulgad,
by the way,
has absolutely zero microphone etiquette.
Oh, yeah.
He has no idea what the microphone can and can't do. And he's not aware that when he's licking his chops like a dog, or talking to his wife, or doing something else...
No.
Leaving it on when he's going to the bathroom. He has no idea what the microphone can and can't do.
That's not during the show. I didn't realize it could pick up some things. You are correct about that.
But we just did rapping with Royce, and we had we can take 5, we can take 10, and no, you wait till we start Mackey and Judd.
No, the long
stuff food in your face.
Yeah, that Rick Sosa. Yeah, it's good.
Amazing. Let's keep laughing at the Packers.
Okay.
It's Packer vent line.
Only 30 seconds to eat this snack, Judd. Here you go.
This is legitimately crazy. This is crazy that this all just went down like this, and we had no inkling that this was happening. It is insane to me that we could be at this point and go, we had no idea this was going to happen, because guess what? We had no idea this was going to happen.
Locked on Packers guy, just trying to process.
He's trying to explain it though. The first guy was great because he's just apoplectic.
I mean, it is weird. Actually, you know what? I think the third clip we have sort of lays out the point that I was about to make. So let's drink some more Packer fan tears here.
Right.
And I think what gets me the most is what Rachel just said, which is that the Packers actually offered him the deal. They gave him the money and he chose not to stay. He chose not to stay with Rodgers. Like that to me is such a huge, like if I'm say red flag, like that's a red flag. Like what is going on that relationship got so bad that they even offered him the money and he could have stayed with his other boy, his boy Rodgers, 12, who just signed his huge deal to stay in Green Bay, and Davante still chose to go. Like that just, I don't know, there's missing information here for me.
Yes.
Yeah. It's weird, dude. It's weird.
She's got a great point.
Apparently, he was not in contact at all with Davante Adams throughout this process. According to Adam Schefter reported that this morning, that there was no like they did the whole last dance thing a year ago, right? Last dance. We're in this together.
You and me, baby.
And apparently it was no longer you and me, baby, once the offseason.
So Davante is really, really, really intelligent, and I think he is. I don't think he's fraudulently intelligent like Aaron tries to be. So my guess is that I would be Team Davante here, because I mean you would get tired of the crap, right? Like all the crap and all of the McAfee stuff's great fun to watch, but if you played with that, if you played with that guy, wouldn't you get sick of that? I mean, Davante is incredibly talented. He's really, really good. But I think he's a sensible dude. And like at some point in time, Aaron would just be like, what are you doing? And this also goes back to a conversation that we have, I don't know, debated is the right term, but we've definitely discussed on this show. And that is the intangibles and leadership of quarterbacks. And we talked about at some point in time during the past season about Carr and the fact that I think his teammates love him. And Davante played in college with Carr, and like he really does love him. And so like that's the thing too about when we talk about like Aaron or heck Kirk, and then these guys who are revered and like personally loved. So my guess is Davante probably said, you know what, I grew up in Cali. I'd rather go back and play for a team I watched. Granted, they moved, but it's not a bad place to move.
No, it's actually pretty awesome.
You know, I don't have to pay state income taxes. So, but I really think that that's a great point. I think he probably said, I'm just tired of this gong show.
Yeah. And look at Rodgers' life. He's just not a guy that connects with humans. It's a trail of broken relationships with women, with his family. He's estranged from his mom, his dad, his brother. He's had former teammates like Greg Jennings come out and put him on blast multiple times, different teammates, I should say. And I'm not saying he had a falling out with Davante Adams. We don't know that yet. But ultimately, the Packers offered to match that contract. And Davante Adams said, I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good. And he's making it sounds like through reports, he's making it about the Packers organization that just like had gone too far. And really, though, I mean, nothing transpired between Davante Adams and the Packers organization that hasn't transpired between almost every high-profile player at every position in the NFL. There's negotiations. You tag a guy with the franchise tag. So it seemed to me like he's just tighter with Derek Carr. Going back to Fresno State, those guys were teammates, roommates, and this is just sort of speculation, but Derek Carr just seems like a more fun guy to be around, just a more normal dude to be around than Aaron Rodgers, even if he's not as talented as Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. And so now Rodgers is left with he's holding his $50 million briefcase, and I guess he still has Randall Cobb to throw to on that roster. And by the way, they'll be fine. Like they're not as good now as they were, certainly. Right. But these people who are automatically putting the Vikings in front of the let's pump the brakes a little here, okay? Aaron Rodgers has made many a wide receiver famous over the past 15 years. So let's not go too crazy saying that now the power is shifting in the NFC North. The Vikings still have work to do before you can say that here over the next 2 or 3 months.
And if I'm not mistaken, this would be the third consecutive year in which I have said, the Packers are screwed, right? I think I started saying that 2020. Packers are going to be in trouble here. No question about it. The Vikings will pass them. They won 13 games. 21. This thing's a mess. Oh, the Packers are completely. So I am not going to go back to that well for a third consecutive year and declare the Packers dead. But this is definitely an interesting and telling divorce that I think you're right, Phil. I think it's far more about Davante's lack of patience now, rightfully so, with the quarterback than some animosity that he might feel about the team.
Yeah, and I think another thing to be learned here, and if you're Kirk Cousins, take out your notebook because you are the Vikings quarterback in a win now window for 2022 and 23, and you're looking around and there's two examples you can pick from here on two opposite sides of the spectrum. Example number one is what we just talked about. Aaron Rodgers, it sounds like, failed to recruit his most important teammate. I don't know if he thought that it was kind of a foregone conclusion. I mean, according to reports, he knew that Davante Adams was not going to play for the Packers when he signed his contract. So
yeah, so he just didn't. So he just gave up.
He just wasn't. Was he not recruiting him? Was he not? There was, again, Schefter said there was no communications. It was just kind of a weird circumstance. On the flip side, Tom Brady comes back and immediately is out there recruiting. Hey, my offensive lineman, come back, play for me, right? He's recruiting Gronk to come back. Who knows who else he's been texting around the league. And if I'm Kirk Cousins, if it's me, I am lighting up J.C. Tretter via text message right now, free agent, top 5 center in the NFL. I'm lighting up anyone that can help me as an offensive lineman. Are there weapons? I know the Vikings are very strapped with cash, cap space, but that's what I want to know. To what extent, Kirk Cousins, you're the franchise guy. You're the leader of this thing. You got a coach that you love. Are you sending text messages to guys like J.C. Tretter saying, come play for us, let's make a run at this thing?
I got a lot of questions about that because that to me is one of the most underlying important points. And so Kirk in his sit down with KFXN this week, Kirk also talked about the fact that he doesn't have the O'Connell playbook yet because we can't officially start until we're back in April, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like he wouldn't have volunteered that if he did. Because the first thing I would say is, hey, Kevin, I'm coming to meet with you. We're going to do it at a restaurant behind the scenes. I got to have that playbook.
Are they not allowed?
Well, they're supposed to not work with him. I don't know what the rules are. But
can you not mail a guy a playbook or mail PDF copy? Can you Dropbox it?
Can you carrier pigeon? Okay, we're gonna get the mail. The mail for the Cousins household is in today, along with the milk just being delivered. So anyway, but the point is, I would be working right now without question, and I don't think I would volunteer in that situation or forum. I wouldn't have said a thing. I'd just be like, I'm excited to get started and see the playbook or blah blah blah, maybe. But anyway, to your point, I'm curious about what the thought process and preparation process is, because I would be the first day that we start, I would want to have that playbook down myself to again serve as a for lack of a better term, pseudo coach.
Yeah,
it's time. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. So just to be clear here, I'm not ripping him. I'm just saying your Brady points are always good ones about how prepared this guy is.
Well, I think what we can say, even though we don't know all the intricate details of how often they're in communication, I'm sure they're in communication, Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell, but I want to see a guy that doesn't just work here. I want to see a guy that runs the place, that owns everything, really, that takes responsibility for shortcomings, even if they're not his, that deflects praise, which he does a really good job. He does deflect praise. But I want to see a guy that is actively recruiting players to come help this team. I mean, they are Adam Thielen, restructure. He's coming back. If you thought they were going to, and we both thought this, and Declan too, there's a good chance they're going to start to trade off some of these veteran players to collect assets because they just need to take a step back. They are doing the opposite. Mm-hmm. They are looking to get the band back together, push these guys even deeper into their 30s. Adam Thielen, 32, Kirk Cousins, 34, Harrison Smith coming back, restructure, right? 30, whatever he is, 32.
Yep.
So, all right, if that's the case, if you're banking on the fact that this nucleus was just poorly coached and the culture was so bad the last few years that you can get the band back together and compete, then go the extra step. Throw Garrett Bradbury under the bus behind the scenes. He is not good enough. If your goal is to win, he is not good enough as a starting center, and
right.
J.C. Tretter is sitting out there. light him up, man. I'd be blowing that dude up. I'd be texting him, what's his number? How do I slide into his DMs? Get on the phone with him, right? Come on, guys. Come on over here. Let's make a run at this thing.
Absolutely. And if you're Kirk, the second that you signed the extension then and smooth out the cap hit for 2022, I am calling teammates about and plus here's the thing too. I'm telling Kwesi, okay, dude, I'll do this. Of course, it's not a bad deal for me, but I'll do this. But like, what else are we doing when free agency at that time opens on Wednesday? Because it's like, if the Vikings are going to do what it appears that they're trying to do, there's a ton of moves still, like important moves that I don't know how you're going to make them or what you're going to do exactly. But I mean, this defense needs to be addressed. And I'm not talking a position. I'm talking a bunch. I don't know how it's going to end. The Hunter thing. If I'm Kirk and I find out that Danielle Hunter is going to either A, hold out, or B, be traded, then why am I back here? In my mind.
I agree.
Like, what, hold on a second. We're going to run this back and try and win, which is awesome. But then we're not going to have a dominant player. So
but there's avenues there too, and I hate we shouldn't go too far down this path because like Zadarius Smith could sign somewhere in an hour. So but
sure,
if they traded Danielle Hunter for a first and a third somewhere, and then they use the extra space to sign Zadarius Smith, who's 28 years old, also one of the top 5 pass rushers when healthy in the NFL, I'm all for that. If Danielle doesn't want to play or whatever, there's just a weird contract impasse, or they feel like his injuries have just brought him down a couple rungs. So there's things that can be done here. We're just sort of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yep. So, by the way, thanks to our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company for just offering up great support of Mackey and Judd, Score North, Purple Daily, and support of business owners throughout the state of Minnesota. If you have a business and you have an interest in having your message be spread across the Mackey and Judd and Purple Daily universe, I think we should start using universe like the WWE does, just calling ourselves a universe. Send me an email, pmackey@scorenorth.com, and we can connect you with someone from our marketing team. But if you're interested in risk management, a better offensive line, so to speak, for your business, maximizing the success of your business, that's where Federated comes in. Federatedinsurance.com, and remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect